question you want answered by real fiduciaries, the lines are wide open. Call 844-580-WDBO. That's 844-580-WDBO. And enjoy the show.
And other qualified expenses.
Well, first of all, what's an HSA?
Well, good morning, Josh. Good morning, Joe. So a HSA is a health savings account, which is paired with a high deductible health plan. So in order to contribute to this investment account, you have to first have a qualified health plan, basically called an HSA eligible health plan. So once you're enrolled in a qualified plan,
what makes it qualified?
Well, you have to have a minimum deductible, minimum out-of-pocket cost. So, for example, for 2026, the minimum deductible is $1,700 if you have single coverage, and if you have coverage but for more than one person, it could be you and a spouse or you, spouse, and family, the minimum deductible is $3,400. And oftentimes these plans, I know I'm on one, and my deductible is actually $6,000. And oftentimes those with really high deductibles, that's also close to your maximum out-of-pocket cost. So once you're on one of these plans, the government allows you to have a deduction on your tax return for what you contribute to this investment account. And if you're in a qualified Section 125 cafeteria plan, or you pre-tax this expense through your payroll, you can actually save both FICA, which are your payroll taxes, Medicare and Social Security taxes, as well as federal taxes.
Now, let me stop you there. You threw out cafeteria plan. People are thinking about going and getting a hot dog. That's not what we're talking about.
No, it's just a section in the Internal Revenue Code that allows you to pre-tax certain expenses.
Right.
One of these would be health insurance premiums that you can pre-tax. Another one would be contributions to health savings accounts.
And this is through your employer.
Exactly. So where 401ks, you only save taxes on federal taxes. This, you actually save payroll taxes as well as federal taxes. Now, all of this money, if invested, grows tax-free, and you can use this money for eligible expenses whenever you need that.
And eligible expenses are?
Well, things like dental, prescriptions, out-of-pocket medical cost, vision costs, glasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, prescription sunglasses would certainly qualify. So there's a whole list. You can easily Google, list of eligible expenses for health savings accounts. So there are many, many uses for the money within a health savings account. And I think this is really what the topic is all about. I think people tend to use these accounts for everyday expenses, even though they have some money perhaps in their checking account where they could cover these expenses.
Right.
So the real benefit, in my opinion, now I realize, we do have an affordability crisis for many Americans. Oftentimes what you put in the HSA has to come right back out to pay for medical expenses. But if you are fortunate and you have money in savings that you could use for your eligible medical, dental, vision, prescription expenses, then I would recommend funding the HSA. Now you can fund it in 2026, you can fund it if you have single coverage, $4,400 is a limit. For family coverage, you can contribute $8,750.
So that's really a tax deduction. That's a tax deduction.
That's a tax deduction.
It's not really a deduction because you don't pay taxes on the money that you're putting in there.
Well, it's to me, it's.
But it's kind of like a tax.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And if you're over 55 like me, you can add $1,000 to that. So I could fund $5,400, for example, or family $9,750. Now, what's happened is these things started, health savings account plans became law in 2004 under the Bush administration. And if you've been diligent, for the last 21, 22 years in funding your HSA, you might have $250,000 if you've never used this. And what we like to tell our clients who are fortunate to have money outside is, don't use these for everyday expenses. Let's get this money to compound and grow so that the growth of your account in a typical year will cover your routine out-of-pocket costs. Now, one of the things, and of course, I look at this and I think, how many people would you say, Joe, in your practice, do not have long-term care insurance?
I would say, unfortunately, we talk about it.
Yes, right.
But the majority of the people do not have it.
Yeah, and I would guess for my practice, the number is somewhere around 80%.
Yeah.
And if we look at the average American, I think it's even less, meaning not our clients. So it's pretty rare. And yet, just this week, I met with a female client who looks like she's going to need help in the home and to help take care of her husband. And what we know, I'm sure you would agree, Joe, from our experience, is that one spouse takes care of the other spouse who needs care way too long. Meaning,
No question.
There's the pride and, I can take care of my spouse, and it just degrades the health of the caregiver. So if we have money in the HSA, great, right? We can use these funds to get a caregiver in the home when somebody can no longer do all of their activities of daily living, or perhaps it's maybe mental.
And once again, when the money comes out, it's not taxable.
That's correct, as long as it's used for eligible expenses. Right. Now, I've been pretty diligent myself saving, and one of the things that will happen upon my death, my daughters are both beneficiaries of the account, is it will become immediately taxable to them in the year of my death.
Ouch.
Yes, right. And the possible ways to avoid some of these taxes is I keep a list of all of my eligible expenses since 2004 when I got into this plan. And it's a rolling number, which I add in. For example, I just added in my 2025 number, and it works out to be $38,000 that I have not reimbursed myself over these 21 years. Some of them were my child's braces because they were covered under the plan at that time. And so today I could write out a check to myself if I wanted to out of that account for $38,000 to reimburse me for all of the eligible expenses I have not in the past 21 years written a check to myself for.
Totally tax-free.
Totally tax-free. Now, why might I want to do that? Well, my account now is somewhere around 125, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. And I might want to do that worrying about if I die, I don't want this to be taxable to them.
Right.
The law says that they can pay for any of my expenses within a year of my death. It's a little bit unclear whether it's the expenses within the year or all of my prior expenses. So anybody out there, I would recommend if, God forbid, you're in a bad state of health, it might be a good idea to reimburse yourself while you are the taxpayer rather than your children. Now, I'm using the example of children. If your spouse inherits it, it's no issue, right? It's the tax qualified status switches right over to the spouse.
Treated like an IRA.
Exactly like an IRA. It's just the HSA is just now the spouse's HSA. But if somebody were not married and there's somebody else was beneficiary, it would be taxable to them in the year. So anyway, one thing that drives me bananas is when we have clients come in, or prospective clients. Obviously, we tell our clients this is not a good avenue. Is I've had people leave money in a bank account where the interest paid is less than the $3 administration fee that they've been paying for the last umpteen years. And you look at that and you say, they haven't used the account, and the account hasn't grown at all.
Right.
So the advantage of these accounts is get them invested. Now, obviously, if you need the money for a particular year, you would only invest the excess, above what you feel you won't need.
Right.
All right. So enough on HSAs.
Well, let me stop you there.
Sure.
Really, the key to making that money grow for you is not to let it languish in the default option, which is usually a money market account.
Precisely. I typically will recommend a low-cost index fund, but you look at the investment options within that provider. So I think Fidelity was ranked #1 for HSAs because they don't have a cost. There's no monthly fee, and you have unlimited options. So I do recommend our clients look at Fidelity as an example.
Right. So these are things that we do for our clients in doing routine financial planning, and HSA is like the Roth account, only better.
I think it's a Roth account on steroids
Yeah.
because a Roth, you don't get a tax deduction for both federal and payroll taxes.
Exactly.
This one you do.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yep. And I see we got a caller there, Josh. We want to grab it before the break?
Yeah, we can head on over to the calls for just 1 second. We may have to get the question and then answer it after the break. But Mary is calling in. If you want a question on the air after Mary, the number to call is 844-580-9326. Go ahead, Mary. You're on with the Certified Financial Group.
Good morning, Mary. What's up?
Good morning. Thank you. I've got something that's confusing me that I'm hoping you can explain to me. Just very briefly, I had to leave my job last year, the end of January. I've worked my whole life, but I'm having some health issues. So I ended up, unfortunately, having to start taking my Social Security. That was in May. I am 63. I will be 64 in March. Anyway, so I've gotten a statement from the IRS showing, trying to figure out if I owe taxes on it or not. But since I'm not getting income, I did have some stock from my company. That was stock that's given each year that I rolled into an IRA, and I took 2 distributions from it. One was $8,000 and one was $7,000, and that was last year. So it's saying that if I make less than $25,000, I don't owe taxes. But my question is, it's saying I have to include capital gains distribution, and I don't understand what that is. Is it the entire amount?
So the money came out of your IRA.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that right after the break. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Mary. If you want to hop on the air after Mary wraps up her question following the break, 844-580-9326. You are listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today
with the Certified Financial Group.
This hour was paid for by the host and does not reflect the opinion of WDBO. Now, the 3 big things you need to know.
3. The Seattle Seahawks will face off against the San Francisco 49ers tonight in an NFC divisional matchup. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. Eastern from Lumen Field in Seattle. 2. The Justice Department is reportedly investigating the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis for allegedly obstructing federal law enforcement. 1. President Trump says he may put a tariff on countries that don't go along with the U.S. acquiring Greenland. The remark comes after the foreign ministries of Greenland and Denmark met with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio this week and called the meeting frank.
Seems to resonate with our clients.
Ever wonder what happens to your financial future if something unexpected happens to your financial advisor? With many financial firms, just being 1 or 2 people,
It's a question worth asking.
yeah, especially if they decide to take up
How
Skype.
good they are.
I had heard from somebody else that it was the best one in town.
I've sent several of my teacher friends here.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries, have been providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the 3rd or 4th generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. Black Monday, the dot-com bust, 9/11, and now 2 wars. We've pretty much seen it all. Acting as fiduciaries, our CFP professionals have been a steady hand guiding our clients to and through their retirement years.
No reason to be worried about anything.
Stay the course. You stay the course, and you get there.
I don't have to worry about it like I know a lot of people look at it every day. I don't have to do that with the team here at Certified Financial Group.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. Are you tired of trying to reach your advisor through a call center and being put on hold for 20 minutes? That's why we don't use one, and our clients seem to appreciate the personal touch.
They always answer my questions and really care about what's going on with me.
You can trust what they say, and they do what they say, and it gives you a comfort feeling it's hard to find in the world today.
Waiting for you to call almost. You almost feel like that.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
Back to Mary, who had a question about capital gain distribution. Steve and Scott, we're going to get to you as soon as we can. If you want to take advantage of these experts we have on the air with the Certified Financial Group, I invite you to call in 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. We also have Charles Curry taking your calls off the air right now at 407-869-9800. Mary, you're back on the air.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. So we do have.
Yeah, I need to make a tiny tweak to my situation. So when I left in January of last year, you asked me at the end, did I take it from my IRA? Before I rolled it into the IRA is when I cashed out $8,000 of the stock, which was in a retirement account at my job. It was a 401B account. Okay. And then the second distribution, that was in February, the second distribution was actually in the IRA, just to be clear.
So both the withdrawals came from retirement accounts?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So, Mary, both of those would be taxable to the extent that your income meets the threshold for taxation. So I don't want to ask your Social Security benefits, but up to half of your benefits.
Well, I can tell you that. It was $5,000. Half is 5,228.
Okay.
That's half of it. Yep.
Okay. So you're not going to have any tax issue. Now, the question you brought up was capital gains distributions. That's typically income from a non-retirement account. So the question I have is, do you have an account, an investment account outside of the IRA or what was the 403B?
I do not.
Okay. So capital gains distributions for you do not apply, not an issue. That would only apply for taxpayers who had a non-retirement account. So any capital gains or income you earn within a retirement account are not taxed. It's only distributions from an IRA, or in your case, the 403B would be taxable. So I don't anticipate you will have any tax bill when you file your taxes, Mary.
Okay. Do I also, outside of it, for the deciding about Social Security taxes, I have to pay taxes on those distributions though, just to the IRS, don't I?
No. From what you've shared with us, Mary, your taxable income will be below the standard deduction, including the new senior deduction. So I don't anticipate you.
But that doesn't apply to me because I'm only 63.
Oh,
I don't
you're right.
get the senior
Okay, but
deduction.
still, based on what you've said, you wouldn't owe any taxes because the income and your taxable Social Security would be less than the standard deduction for you. So you should not have any taxes.
Okay. I'm gonna seek out a CPA for the first time in my life because I've always done my taxes, but this feels really complicated to me.
Honestly, Mary, it's not.
It's not.
It's really not. You're just going to have two forms. You're going to have your Social Security, which is a 1099 form, and you're going to have a 1099-R form for your distribution. So literally just maybe three forms, the Social Security and a 1099-R from your IRA and a 1099-R from your 403B. I don't think you need a CPA. I think your situation is very simple, and I don't think you will owe any taxes.
Really?
Yep.
Yes, 100%. I'm a CPA as well. So I'm pretty sure about this.
I was also told I would get a 1099B and a 1099R.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
So Mary, a 1099B would be for accounts that are outside of retirement accounts. So again, that's why I asked, do you have any investment accounts that are not an IRA or 403B?
Yeah.
So
well, the person must have told me wrong then.
I think so.
That's not
I would think
my
so,
employer.
Mary.
I called them about the tax documents that I needed. So, okay, so you don't think it's too complicated?
No, I do
to
not.
do it.
Pretty straightforward.
If you do the software and you have a problem, call me. I'll walk you through it. It's not a big deal, Mary.
You wanted to consult with a CPA, Mary? You just did.
You just did, so no worries.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're
You guys
welcome.
are amazing.
Have a great
Appreciate
weekend.
your advice. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. I love you to get a little insight of how a conversation goes between, somebody who's worried about their future and somebody who's able to reassure them that there is a plan that's possible for them. If you want to call in right now, we got Gary Abely and Joe Bert helping out any situation you might have what planning to get to and through your retirement. 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. We also have Charles Curry taking your calls off the air at 407-869-9800. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today
with the Certified Financial Group.
Black Monday, the dot-com bust, 9/11, and now two wars. We've pretty much seen it all. Acting as fiduciaries, our CFP professionals have been a steady hand guiding our clients to and through their retirement years.
No reason to be worried about anything.
Stay the course. You stay the course, and you get there.
I don't have to worry about it like I know a lot of people look at it every day. I don't have to do that with the team here at Certified Financial Group.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. Are you tired of trying to reach your advisor through a call center and being put on hold for 20 minutes? That's why we don't use one, and our clients seem to appreciate the personal touch.
They always answer my questions and really care about what's going on with me.
You can trust what they say, and they do what they say, and it gives you a comfort feeling it's hard to find in the world today.
Waiting for you to call almost. You almost feel like that.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in, you say, "Hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like?" And Lou goes to the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal? Oh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak. Just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit. It's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy. Your cholesterol is getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that, if she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian. So when one of your moms or dads or friends calls the broker and says, I got 200 grand, I sold a little piece of property, or I got some inheritance.
Right here on WDBO, AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. I got Gary Abely and Joe Bert taking your questions live on the air. Two certified financial planners from the Certified Financial Group. If you want to call in, we got some open lines available for you. 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. Also have Charles Curry taking your calls off the air if you want to jump right into the four walls of Certified Financial Group. And that number is 407-869-9800. Joe, Gary, what do you say we head back to work?
Let's do it.
All right, we got Scott calling in from Lake Mary. Go ahead, Scott. You're live with the Certified Financial Group.
Morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you guys for your program. I really appreciate it. I've been listening to you for years and years.
Well, thank you for calling.
Here's my New Year's resolutions, one of them. So I'm updating my beneficiary destinations in my retirement accounts. And so I have 3 beneficiaries, and I'm trying to figure out the 3 beneficiaries, what would be the ideal account for them to inherit them with in terms of their tax situation. So let me give you an idea here. So I have a brother who's 58 years old. I have a nephew who's 25. And I have another family member who's not legally my family. So, and he's also 25. I have 2 Roth IRA accounts. I have 1 401k rollover, and I also have an HSA account with Fidelity. So I wanted to get your advice as to which of these is the better match.
Well, that's a good question, and I'm just looking at all of these account types that you have, and they're all what I would say tax advantaged currently for you. So, first question I might ask, and if you don't mind sharing, Scott, how old are you?
I am 62. I'm semi-retired. Okay. I am taking money out of my 401k rollover right now.
And do you have long?
And I haven't dipped into my Social Security. I'm hoping to wait till 67 until doing that.
Okay. Well, I commend you on worrying about the investments for your beneficiaries at age 62. That's very commendable. Question I have: do you have long-term care insurance, Scott?
No, I don't. And based on your discussion today with the HSA, I'm thinking using my HSA more towards that and then to buy a policy.
Yeah. So, we always say education is key. So even though, Joe and I mentioned very few of our clients have long-term care, I always recommend somebody look at it and look at the cost. And I think most people, after they see the cost, are going to say, well, let's think of a different option. Do you have any investment accounts outside of the 2 Roths, the 401k and the HSA?
I have a rental property.
Okay.
I have 1 rental property. That's it, other than a car and, small items like that.
All right, so next I'm going to ask, who do you like the best? I'm joking. So the Roth accounts are obviously going to be able to be inherited on a tax-free basis for your beneficiary. So, right. Joking aside, I mean, that's a big difference. If, sometimes I'll see divorce attorneys split money up without recognizing the difference in the tax effects for all of these different accounts. But the Roth accounts are the gold here, if you will. The HSA, as I mentioned earlier, is immediately taxable because all 3 of your beneficiaries are non-spouses. And so, you might say, okay, you've got 2 25-year-old beneficiaries. They might be in a lower tax bracket. So you might say, well, let's split up the HSA for the 2 of them because it's not going to impact them so much. Your brother's 58. He might be in his peak earnings years. So I would suggest maybe the Roth account for him. The 401k will be taxable, and a non-spouse beneficiary will have to take that money over a 10-year period of time, and that'll be taxable to them. So, but I think your question is, what types of assets are best for the beneficiary? And I would say that's really not pertinent here, because when they inherit that money, they will be able to reposition the assets at no tax cost. Now, other than the HSA, of course, which is taxable in the year that they would inherit it. So I would say you should be structuring the types of assets in the Roths and the 401k based upon your specific needs. right? Because you've got potentially a time horizon of 35 years if you're lucky, right, for longevity. So I wouldn't worry about the types of assets that would be appropriate for the beneficiaries. We need to get those investments what is appropriate for you, knowing that your beneficiaries can change the investments better to suit them. And obviously 25-year-olds should be predominantly invested in equities. What do you have to add, Joe?
Well, I'm thinking about the age difference between the two sets of beneficiaries here. You got 30 years or so.
Right.
So I would think that you'd want the tax-free money growing at the younger people.
Right, if you like them all equally.
Yeah. I think you want to you designate the Roth accounts to the younger group because they have more years. And as Gary said, you have to empty, under current law anyway, the IRA within the 10-year time frame. But projecting it out, I think I'd still lean toward the younger people getting.
Keep in mind, you've got to empty the Roth for a non-spouse.
Yeah, that's true
as well. So either way, the accounts have got to be emptied out.
That's true
within 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
so
here's my feeling. I just wanted your advice. I was going to give the Roths to the two 25-year-olds because they have 10 years. I figured they would use it as a down payment on their house. They're both rentals right now. They're both in the military, so they haven't really figured out where they're going to live down the road. And then since my brother is going to be retiring, probably 4 or 5 years down the road, he gets the 401k and, taxed at whatever rate he's at. And that was my feeling. I just wanted to think, and like I said, the HSA, probably split it amongst them. I don't know. I'll have to talk to my brother. I know he's in good health, so I don't know exactly.
I hate to ask the question, Scott, but how is your health?
My health is good, and my parents are still living. They're in their 80s, and they're still, I mean, my dad's 84, my mom's 80, and they don't have any health issues. In fact, my dad tells me I don't even take medicine.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't. My doctor, he said he did his annual physical, doesn't even have to take a pill.
Scott, sorry to interrupt, but one thing that I think would be helpful for you is we do, of course, financial plans. And what that does is it simulates, 1,000 different investment results from your particular type of portfolio. And then it shows an estimated amount of money left over at various ages based upon your income.
In the various accounts.
And the various accounts, right? So that you would be able to see, okay, if, all things equal, I typically assume stocks go up 8% to be conservative, bonds 4%, cash 1%. That's some of the assumptions. We assume your expenses will go up 3%. I assume healthcare expenses will go up 5%. So we use these, general, estimates, and then you can see, okay, at various ages, here are what the account values will be, because if you're trying to, and I don't want to put words into your mouth, but if you're trying to split these monies up a certain way, it's all going to depend on how they are allocated, right? You want the Roths, of course, to grow and compound the fastest because they are tax-free. So, if your goal is, say, to leave the money equally, this would help you by doing some planning to see how those assets would grow. So it is a little difficult to advise because we would really want to look at the dollars in each account and what your objective was dollar-wise for each of the beneficiaries.
And then you could hypothetically determine life expectancy, and bingo, this is what theoretically is available to these beneficiaries at these ages, and then figure out what the tax consequences might be. And the beauty of the software that we use, Scott, is that once it's done, then it's yours to use. You can dial it up at home and do the what-if games. It appears that you're a thinking planner kind of guy, but it gives you a tool that you can use going forward to really do these hypotheticals. So give us a call. It's what we do. We've been doing it now for a long, long time, and we'd be encouraged. You're right up the street from us here. We're in Altamont Springs, as you know. So
I've been to a couple of your seminars.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. All right, well, so you know where we are. All right.
Well, thank you,
I'll
Scott.
call you guys on Monday then.
All right.
Well, thank you, Scott, for the call, and have a great weekend. Stay warm.
All right, you too.
Thank you,
guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Scott. If you want to call in after this here commercial break coming up, we're going to talk to Steve for just a few minutes here before the break to get his question.
Thanks for holding on, Steve.
Yep, thank you so much, Steve. Again, if you want to call in 844-580-9326. Steve, you're on with the Certified Financial Group.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Good morning. Excellent.
Good. All right, pretend for a minute that you're 75, you're drawing Social Security, your house is paid for, you have no credit card debt, and you're closing in 30 days. So you're walking away with a little bit of money. What would you do?
When you say you're closing in 30 days, you mean you're closing on a piece of property?
No, I'm selling my house.
Oh, you're selling your house. Okay. Where are you gonna go, Steve?
How do I know? I ain't got no idea.
Okay. Well, I mean, what I mean by that, Steve, you're going to sell your home. Are you going to rent for a while and then maybe buy a new home? Are you thinking about a continuing care facility?
I don't need care. I'm gonna live to 100.
Good.
I'm probably gonna rent for maybe a year. I have one place I'm looking at right now over on the coast, and I'm also considering a round-a-year camper and just go across the country.
All right.
I haven't made my mind up.
Okay. Well, you sound adventurous. You're right up my alley. So, Steve, what I would say is because you're selling a home and you're not sure whether you're going to buy another home in a year or so, or maybe 3 years, 5 years, maybe you travel for 3 to 5 years, I would be saying, and this is what we say pretty much to all of our clients for money that could be earmarked for a use within 5 years. Within 5 years, I would tend to say that portfolio should be primarily bonds or fixed income and not have as much money in equities or stocks. And the reason for that, in my view, is the last significant bear market was ended March of 2009, so roughly 17 years ago. And on average, we get a bear market about every 5.5 years if you look at history going back 100 years. So undoubtedly, we'll have a bear market in the next 5 years. Of course, that's a guess. Nobody knows for sure. But I wouldn't put that money at risk, what you get from the house. I would keep that in liquid investments that are not likely to go down in value, but hopefully maintain purchasing power. And I think bonds would be suitable for that, Steve.
So get in that camper, clear your mind out, and when you come back, you'll know exactly what you need to do, and then you can do some long-term planning.
Visit the Utah parks. I just got back from them. They're wonderful.
I love that. A future nomad on our hands.
There you go. From Rolling Stone.
There we go. If you want to join the conversation, one more break coming up with the Certified Financial Group, 844-580-9326. Charles Curry taking your calls off the air at 407-869-9800. One more break coming up here with the Certified Financial Group. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
today
with the very same Certified Financial Group.
Named in honor of President Trump.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in and you say, hey, Lou, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to, the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal, ooh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak, just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit, it's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy. Your cholesterol is getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas. And I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that, if she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian. So when one of your moms or dads or friends calls the broker and says, you know, I got 200 grand, I sold a little piece of property, or I got some inheritance, what should I do with it? They're going in thinking they're talking to a dietitian, and they're really talking to Lou the butcher.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40 years ago, I had a dream of building the best personal financial consulting firm in Central Florida. Now, with 14 certified financial planners acting as fiduciaries, I believe we're there. But don't take my word for it.
As we approach retirement, we have the freedom of choice.
Peace of mind that we now have, that's everything to us.
The people that work here are honest and caring, and I feel like I can go to sleep at night.
So schedule your no-obligation visit today at financialgroup.com, where we're planning tomorrow. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries, have been providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. Our fiduciary approach of providing retirement planning and investment management for a fee seems to resonate with our clients. But don't take my word for it.
I knew a gentleman that I worked with who had come to Certified Financial Group.
A friend of mine recommended them, and they were totally correct how good they are.
I had heard from somebody else that it was the best one in town.
I've sent several of my teacher friends here.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries, have been providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today. Black Monday, the dot-com bust, 9/11, and now 2 wars. We've pretty much seen it all. Acting as fiduciaries, our CFP professionals have been a steady hand guiding our clients.
2 certified financial planners with the Certified Financial Group. As this episode comes to a close, we still have Charles Curry taking your calls off the air, and he's available at 407-869-9800, 407-869-9800. And if you want to say hello to Charles in person, you have an opportunity for that come February 7th. Isn't that right, guys?
That's right. February 7th, we're doing a Social Security workshop on what you claiming strategies are. As we say in one of our commercials there, the Social Security Administration can tell you what your options are, but they cannot and will not tell you what's best for you and your family. So when you get reach Social Security age, what's the best time to take it? Are you still planning on working? Do you have a spouse? Are you survivors? Should you take it at 70?
Or a disabled child.
Or a disabled child. All those variables enter into it. So we will be covering that on February the 7th at our offices here in Altamont Springs in our Learning Center. It is absolutely free. All you have to do is go to our website. That's financialgroup.com, financialgroup.com. Click on workshops, and you make your reservation right there.
That's right. And following that, we have another workshop on the 21st of February on IRA planning for baby boomers, strategies to help save taxes and get more out of your IRA. So a couple workshops coming up. We welcome you to come visit us.
So once again, those are absolutely free. People say, well, why do you do those, Joe? We do it for basically two reasons. Number one, to hopefully prevent you from becoming a financial casualty. And secondly, to introduce you who we are, what we do, and how we do it. This way, whether you need our services now or sometime in the future, you will give us an opportunity to earn your business. So go to our website. That's financialgroup.com. I want to remind our listeners that we also have a service that many of our listeners have taken advantage over the years. It's called Score My Funds. It's an opportunity for you to have a deep dive into these mutual funds or ETFs that you might be holding in your retirement accounts or your brokerage accounts. And it's done by the Center for Fiduciary Studies. It examines the funds on 11 distinct criteria. It's graded, scored, and tells you the quality of your funds, not just the performance, and things that you need to be looking at when you're looking at those kinds of investments. So if you want to take advantage of that, go to that website. It's scoremyfunds.com, scoremyfunds.com. If you don't know the ticker, there's a pull-down menu. Fill it in right there, and we will send you a report within 48 hours if you'd like to follow up. So once again, that is totally free. And I hear the bumper music there. Josh, another great program. I want to thank my colleague Gary Abely here for filling in and doing a great job as he always does. And hope to see our listeners here in the office one day soon.
Thank you so much, Joe and Gary. And thank you to you, the listener, for having a great questions today on the air. I always love, taking a back seat to the listeners and just taking notes as the experts answer your questions. Again, Charles Curry taking your calls off the air. If you want to call in, 407-869-9800. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
today
with the Certified Financial Group.